Ladies, thank you so much for joining me yet again as we keep talking about diversity, equity, inclusion, and just what that means and feels like in the real estate industry and specifically at Atlanta Realtors Association. So thank you for joining me today. To start off, I wanted to just kind of discuss what we know to already be the case. We know there is a well-documented history of unfortunately excluding people of color and really specifically Black people. Like that's the real thing. It's a lot of different people, but there's been so much codified language laws that have explicitly named Black African Americans as well as other groups of color from real estate buying, selling, leasing, even participating in the brokering aspect, right? Being agents. And unfortunately, we know it didn't just poof, bam, boom, go away, right? It's still here. Despite various laws, we have different exposés that happen, different complaints that continue to be lodged. So it's still, unfortunately, an ever present issue. And I even heard a quote by Elaine Gross. She's the president of Erase Racism. And she stated, people don't realize they've been discriminated against unless they know what happened to the white person who asked for the same thing, which to me speaks to how, unfortunately, racism and discrimination, they kind of shape shift and they aren't always as overt as they've been in the past. So, what are some of the initiatives that the Atlanta Realtors Association is working on to counter some of these issues? I know it's a big topic. So,
Well, it is a huge topic, and that's part of the problem. I think Karen and I talk about the bowl of spaghetti, and it is, the apology was just the first step in building a trust level that hopefully will exist so that we can hear as many voices as possible on this topic. And particularly from our Black members, we need to understand what they've experienced, what they continue to experience, and how we can be of influence there. When it comes to the ARA, one of the things that I've learned at a very deep level is, as much as I want to be the person who causes the solution, all that I can do and all that we can do as volunteers is influence by voicing and using our voice and our influence in the arena that we can. So let's start with ARA and our membership. First and foremost, I feel it's imperative that we provide the right systems and training for our membership, because we are the largest association in the city of Atlanta now. That means we have more members. We're 12,500 members now, Karen, right? Just right about there. Did an orientation this morning with a record number of 229 new members on orientation, and that's in the summer. Like, wow, we are growing so fast. And messaging and systematic messaging, as you have pointed out over the time that you and I have been talking, is one of our hardest things to do. But behind all of that is our Diversity and Inclusion Council. And what we are working through that council is they are going to be the listening body for our members. Then the messages that they get from our members will then be routed to the appropriate committee that can actually take action. So at this point, we have love letters, we have fair housing, we have the appraisal issues that continue to be written about. Let's just pull those strands out of the bowl of spaghetti. And I think that is where we're going to start. So for the next agenda of the Diversity Inclusion Council, we have both love letters, and I personally just added the appraisal issues, because I think we've got to start. We don't have control at a legislative level, but we have to at least start somewhere so that that can move forward to governmental affairs, and then they could potentially be an influence, a voice to change some of these issues. But very particularly, outside of those things that we're hoping will come through Diversity Inclusion Council and move forward, we have added a fair housing class. I think, Karen, did you do that through Capitus?
Yes, it's July 21st this month. So if you have not taken it yet and you want some more information on it, realtors are always asking, where can I learn about fair housing? Because you will be surprised what you don't know. So if you need to brush up on that, or you just want to fine tune, your senses, definitely take that course. It's a free 3 hour course offered through Capitus by ARA, and that's July 21st. So sign up. I think it's offered via Zoom. So please sign up for that fair housing class. It's called The Challenges of Stinking Thinking.
Woohoo! So we did that immediately. And thank you, Karen, for leading through the Capita School to be able to get that done. And hopefully this is something that we intend to make sure is on the docket annually. We don't have that scheduled annually, but that is our intention, is to keep that going. We've also done the inclusionary index survey that you suggested, and we've made a decision to continue that annually. That was a very important piece that you gave us. We're very appreciative of it. We haven't gone through all the results yet to know what we need to do with it, but it's pretty apparent that that needs to continue on an annual basis, and that decision has been made. There's a lot of decisions, Dr. Lee, that Karen and I have not worked through committee level yet to get approval for. But one of the things that I petitioned for, and it's moving through the docket, it's moving through the system, is the addition of an employee whose job at the association level is to protect our protected class members and also members of other associations. That is very important to me. From president to president, there is no consistency. Karen and I talk all the time about, every day I tell her my biggest fear is beyond you, Karen, that this continues, that we have the systems put into place this year and next year that are so inherent that even though our voice may not be there as president, these systems and the things that we put into place will continue. And the cool thing is, if we can get more members to come in through the Diversity Inclusion Council, give us their voices. Yours, Dr. Lee, your voice was the most powerful voice that I got this year. You and a couple of other of my leaders were the ones that helped me the most. And then Karen, being my president-elect, was so very helpful to help me process what I was learning. If your voice hadn't been here, I don't think all of these things would be happening now. I really don't, because I wouldn't have been challenged in a way that I needed to be challenged. And that's what we need. We need more yous. We need more of our members to show up and to voice and to stay even when it's frustrating, because we're just volunteers and we're not perfect. And we make a lot of suggestions, and sometimes we have a vision of the way that should go, and then you give it to a committee and it comes out a different way, and that there's some good things to that. But in my opening speech this year, it was in December, my inauguration, I talked about, I hoped that our association would begin the process of believing that diversity is a great thing, not a bad thing. Because when diversity shows up in all forms, in all sizes, with all intelligence levels and all level of experience, better decisions are made. And it was part of my speech. And I feel like over time, as long as these systems that we are implementing stay in place, and there are avenues for people to voice their opinion, my hope is that over the years, we will start to address these issues. But it is going to take years and years and years.
So thank you, Madam President. That was excellent. And Dr. Lee, to your question, I would just add about what some initiatives ARA is actively working on to counter these issues. I would say additionally to all of the initiatives that Cynthia talked about is we also have an affordable and equitable housing task force that was started this year. This was specifically implemented to address, we want housing for all. So right now we need to build advocacy and education. So we're going to build advocacy from realtor members by educating them on FHA loans and why you should not turn a blind eye to them, to advocate that, to educate them on down payment assistance, how to use them. They're built into our MLS system, right? How do you use them? And also, if you are representing the seller and you're the listing agent, to not shy away from down payment assistance, a buyer that has these additional loan programs and what it looks like. And then also we want to be a resource. We want to be a resource for realtor members that are working with buyers that are using those down payment assistance programs. We want to ensure that we have reputable community partners that are lenders that offer these programs, that we're educating our members about these programs and the community. So therefore, we're building advocates from the realtor perspective and fans of this, not just always talking about new construction and luxury housing. We want to talk to all types of housing, including veteran housing. So we have a task force that is just wrapping, and they will make some recommendations to executive next month. I think that's going to be a key, however they show up in our association and will live for the future. That will be key in terms of building advocacy and ensuring housing for all and making sure that we have realtor advocates. Second, I would say that to piggyback what Cynthia said, we need more volunteers. That is how we ensure that we counter these issues. It takes people showing up. We're a volunteer organization that is run by Robert's Rules of Order, which means that everything has to get voted on. So to get voted on, we need active, consistent members. And if we get people that are passionate and want to see change and can show up and commit and voice their opinions and ideas and be there to vote, that's how we get things done. So I just want to encourage anybody that has feedback. I've been reading a lot of the feedback from our association page that have come from our apology that was sent out. And some of our members have some excellent feedback. And thank you, Dr. Lee, for inviting some of those people to come to the Diversity Council to voice their opinion, because that's how we make change. That's how we work on encounter these issues, right? It happens through committee. And then it bubbles up, it gets voted on, it bubbles up to leadership and then to the appropriate parties. So come join us.
Dr. Lee, I have one other thing that's pretty exciting to tell you, because, when we're looking at these systems, we have two fronts. We have systems that are outward to our members, and then we have inward systems that have to do with our leadership. And, another apparent thing, because I went through it this year myself, there's a lot that our leadership doesn't know. And if we're depending on our leadership to understand these concepts so that they make better decisions or that they oversee better decisions, then it's imperative that we educate them properly too. So in addition, it has been put forward that on our leadership program that happens every single year, there's a lot of things we're working on there to add a lot more inclusion, a lot more voices, and training a lot more diverse membership. But two of the things that we've added, we want to make sure that the color of law gets taught yes, absolutely. Your voice was heard. It was the most impactful thing you encouraged me to do this year was to read the book. And until you read the book, you don't know what you're mad about. You don't understand as a white person where the frustration lies until you understand the history. And then when you understand the history, it's clearly obvious why we've got a problem. So we're adding that. In addition to that, our leadership went through unconscious bias training. That's going to continue on an annual basis. And that will be directed out of the Diversity and Inclusion Council on what all of our current leadership needs to do. But we're adding it to our leadership program as well, so that those things are taught at the beginning level, because we pull our committee chairs and vice chairs from that leadership training class.
What we're doing, I think it's really cool to see from the progress. It's been really fun watching, not totally fun, but because it was hard. It's been hard work, right? But watching even President Lipper's progress and just her process of receiving the information and learning and then implementing and encouraging and being an ally and an advocate and saying, we've got to do something about this. That has been true leadership. I'm looking at two people right now on my Zoom screen that dare to lead, right? Brene Brown, really, both of you are dare to lead all the time and voices to create change. And I just want to thank both of you for all the work you've been doing to advance our industry and make it more equitable and inclusive for everyone. So I'm really excited about the future of ARA, and we just need more people to get involved so we can continue to get the work done. So thank you for the opportunity.
Completely agree with all of that. Thank you, Dr. Lee.
Thank you again. You both are jewels, and I'm so glad to know you. And I'm just, again, excited to see all that continues to come from it. So as President-elect Karen said, join.
Join us.
We need you.
Bring your voice in. We won't know unless we hear it.